Hi, this is Sarah from Roxy Creations by Sarah. So this is my first video I'm making since I've come home from Italy. Took a little while to get myself collecting a few supplies and getting set up to make a video. Hopefully this works out okay because it's nighttime and I'm actually using lights, artificial lights rather than sunlight. But I just wanted to show you some things I've been making. I took a note out of my sister's video where she made decorated envelopes, and I have been collaging on envelopes as well. Just simple envelopes like this that you get in the mail, and you get so many of them. So like Rachel did, I've had a go at collaging on envelopes. So this was the first one that I made. What I've got here and here and here and this as well, they're all pictures that I've cut out of books that I've found at op shops. So this was a book on different types of tea illustrations, which has given me some amazing images. This was one called The A to Z of Gardens, and this one was Illustrated Birds from Southern Africa. This was the garden book, and this also I think came out of the garden book. So I've also been following a lot of 49 Dragonflies videos. I'll tag one of her videos in the bottom. I think it's fabulous what she does. She uses a lot of stamps. So I've kind of borrowed that idea from her. She says she's happy to share. And I've used bits of washi tape as well and done a pretty simple background. And then on the inside, where the window is, I'm pretty sure this is Stamperia rice paper that I got in Italy that I've put under there, and I've got a little tag at the top as well. So that was my first one. My second one, I tried to do a little bit differently, although you can probably tell that I like pink because it's on everything. So with this one, again, I've done some collaging in the background to begin with. I'm pretty sure this was a postcard piece of ephemera that I got from Johanna. Washi tape, little bits of ephemera from packs that I've got from random places. I've got a little label. I will, once I stick this into my journal and once it becomes something, I'll probably stamp something on there. This was wrapping paper. These were from the birds of Southern Africa, and this one was something I found in Italy. So that's number 2, 1 and 2. And then I've done a third one, again a little bit different, but common theme. I've used pink. So this one I've actually used one of my printables. This was a beautiful cross stitch that I've got that I've scanned and I have in my Etsy store. I've used some different pink papers. This was a doily that I actually dyed in pink. Cutouts from some of the books I've found. This was a Maggie Holmes die cut. I'm pretty sure this one came from a shop we've got here in Australia called the Reject Shop, and they have a lot of die cuts, and I think maybe this one as well. My stamps are actually stickers. I haven't got any actually authentic stamps yet, but I found these great sticker sheets at a Japanese cheap store in Sydney that's actually closing down, so I got them half price, which was great. I think I might go get some more. But I do plan on finding some actual real stamps at a antique fair tomorrow. And again, inside the pocket I put some paper, and inside the pocket I forgot to mention I put some paper, some beautiful Florentine paper that I bought when I was in Italy. So they're my first 3. I haven't really done the backs. My plan is actually to stick them into my junk journal. I'm going to make myself a new junk journal maybe tomorrow. We'll see how we go. And the book I'm using, excuse me, just dropped something. The book that I'm going to use is this fantastic old Snow White book, Walt Disney. I'm going to, hate to say it, take it apart. I'm going to leave the cover as is because I love it. I'm going to make a thicker spine and a more decorative back. And I'll definitely be using some of the beautiful pages that are in it. I got this for $5 at the antique fair, which I'm going back to again tomorrow. I just love it. I'll definitely make use of all those papers. So these are going to end up in my junk journal for this year, which will probably be, I'll do a little bit of journaling, but I like Gail Agostinelli's suggestion that you can just make a glue book, because I do actually really like collaging, don't particularly like writing too much. So what I thought I'd do is I thought I'll make a fourth envelope, try and make it a little bit different. I'm sure some pink will end up on it somewhere, and I'll just show you the process. My sister's already done this. You might have seen hers. I'm going to do one as well. So firstly, I coffee dyed some paper. Gail Agostinelli told me how to make this with the doily imprint. You basically dip the paper in the coffee mixture, put it on a baking tray. Then I dipped doilies in the coffee mixture as well, put them on top, baked it in the oven. I think I put it on about 150 degrees Celsius, and I just watched it until I could see that it was dry. And then when I took it off, it had the beautiful imprint, and also I had some other paper, so I've got some other marks. It does smell a lot like coffee. I use really cheap instant coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I didn't have any in the house, so I just went and bought the really cheap stuff, and it's been working fine, but it does have a bit of a smell of coffee. It's the first time I've done it, but I assume that eventually that coffee smell will go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start off by collaging the background with just some fairly plain papers. Hopefully I stay on screen here because this is my first time with my own camera setup. So I'm just going to run the Yoo-Hoo glue all over the back. And then I'm just going to randomly place my papers. To keep it neat, sometimes I just fold over. So move the little bit. Sometimes I just fold over the edges rather than cutting them or ripping them. Makes it nice. So I'm going for a fairly neutral background, a few prints, like I've got this scrapbooking paper. It actually was white with a floral design in black on it, but I wanted it to look old, so I've tea dyed this paper, and I really like the way it's come out. You could also use coffee. This one was tea. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping some, if I've got a straight edge, I prefer ripped edges, but if I've got a straight edge, I'm just lining it up on the side of the envelope. I really like this. This has come from a Reader's Digest book. It's got RD in the little image. Maybe a bit of vintage book page. I love this one. This was a really old book, and the paper tears super easily because it's really old. Well, as far as Australian standards goes, it's not old like some of the books we found in Italy. I think we even saw some back to the 16 and 1700s, which is probably well before we had books in Australia, that's for sure. This one was probably 1900 and something, but the paper feels old. Okay, let me look through my scraps. Oh, this was just, I had some old Filofax papers, lined papers, things like that, so I coffee dyed them. Sorry if you can hear my son in the background. I'm pretty sure he's playing Fortnite with his friends, and he's very noisy. Screams all the time, gets excited. It's a bit small. Try big a bit, wide a bit. Too small. Try another one. Maybe I'll measure it this time. That might be a better idea. Rip it just a little bit more because I want to see that Reader's Digest sign. I really like that. I think that's cool. And that actually, I think it came out of the book that I made my first journal with, so quite like the idea of keeping it. So making sure I'm still on screen, yes. Maybe just a bit of plain paper in here. This is really brittle paper, this one, from some kind of old book. It's nice to actually use up envelopes rather than throwing them out, although I try to switch most of mine to online bills to save paper, but I know there's still a few I haven't got around to doing yet, so that's what these are. Okay, and one more little bit. Oh, I know, might do typewriter writing. This is actually just a really cheap piece of scrapbook paper from a super cheap store that everybody loves here. Well, everyone I know loves, called Kmart. You can get very cheap bits and pieces for crafting, and I think it'd be, if you're in America, it's like Walmart. Oh, actually, I think you have Kmart too, don't you? I'm sure ours isn't the same, because I see stuff you guys get in Kmart that's really good that we don't get, but I really like Kmart here. You can even get cool homewares. In fact, I'm sitting on a blue velvet dining chair, which is my desk chair. Bought them the other day because I love blue velvet, and my cat has hijacked my chair. I bought 2 of them, and she loves both of them. So I'm going to, these are bits and pieces that I've cut out of books. So since I've come home to Australia, I've been doing a little bit of op shopping and trying to find some interesting books with images. This one's come out of the A to Z of Gardening book. And also we had a council cleanup the other day where everybody can throw out, you know, household like furniture and bits and pieces. Like, it's a big sort of cleanup. The council comes around, they do it 3 times a year. My son and I went for a little walk on the evening that everyone was putting stuff out, and I found so many books. It was fantastic. So I look like a bit of a scavenger going through the rubbish, but I think I'm going to do cats. But I found some really cool stuff that I'll be able to use in my journals. So at this point, what I'm going to do, and this is sort of a tip from 49 Dragonflies, is I'm just playing around with where I want my images. I've done quite a few birds, so I think I might do cats. I love cats, obviously, having a cat. And then I'll find some stamps that might go in the background. I think I might keep these tones sort of fairly neutral. Not too many bright pinks on this one, just so I can use some different bits and pieces. Can't wait to go to the market tomorrow because I know there's someone there that sells just old books of stamps. Well, last time I was there, he had some. And they've got a variety of stamps in them. Some have a lot, some don't have as many, but they're only $5 each. You can, you know, there's usually a few different ones, so I might be able to pick up quite a few. I just feel like these stamps make the page really interesting. Doesn't have a lot of colour on this. I'm keeping this one, you know, fairly neutral tones like browns and things like that. I'm just seeing if there's any other little bits that I might want to stick on. These are just some of my bits that I've cut out so far. I certainly have a lot more cutting to do. I put that there, lucky number 1, like a lucky cat. This has really moved away from my pink tones that I gravitate towards. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find some washi. These are some of my washies. I do have some brighter ones. I like lots of bright colours. Just let me play around. Might go for some greens on this one. I've used that heart one a lot lately. I might try and do something different. Oh, I like that one. Maybe even some gold. See if I might want to do a bit of sparkle. I love that washi, but you have to use glue on that one. It's not too sticky or not sticky enough. Maybe even that one as well. I'll just see how I go. Alright, so it's time to play around with some washies, add some colour before I glue other things down. Makes it interesting. I love this one. I love ticket washies. I've got quite a few now, and I've actually, I think I just ordered a couple more on eBay today. So I look forward to them coming. I've already glued that, can't move it. I like that I put the C for cat. I did that deliberately, in case you didn't realise that was deliberate. Might layer that a little bit. This one actually, if I can find the end, this one I'm going to run a little bit of glue on as well, because it's not super strong. It's a nice one. It's got some gold in it, but I found I stuck quite a bit of this in my travel journal to Italy, and some of it's peeled up, so I'm going to have to re-stick. So I've done that one, I've done that one. I like this spot. I don't like anything spotty really. That feels quite sticky, that one. Okay, I feel like I need a bit more colour. Might see if there's any more stamps I want to add as well. Sorry if I'm talking a bit quietly. I've got to get used to making videos. Hopefully you're not getting my head in this too much. I'm kind of leaning over my table. I'm going to layer that with, I think, a bit of the gold. And this one definitely needs glue because it's not sticky enough. It's very sparkly. I like a little bit of sparkle sometimes. Okay, a little bit of this one. And then I'll just layer it. Can't find the end. Here it is. It's a new one. I haven't used this one yet. That one feels like it might need some glue. I'm just using Yoo-Hoo glue. I do tend to like, PVA, but it does get super messy. You need like baby wipes or wet ones to wipe your fingers. And I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just using glue stick. My sister uses glue stick and it seems to work well, so no, I don't think I want that one. I feel like I need something there. I don't know what yet. You know what? Sticking a bit of doily over it might be nice. Actually, I might do a little bit of doily on the corner. I'm just going to rip a little bit. Just feel like it needed something else. This is where I get glue all over myself putting it on the doily because it comes through the gaps, but you need to sort of get it everywhere to make sure that it sticks down nicely, and then I'll curl these edges over to the back. A bit messy, this one. Okay, I might have to I think I might have to re-stick that a bit more. Doilies are so delicate, it's really easy to rip them. Okay, so now I'm going to stick my cats on. These little cats, where I got them in Italy from a shop called Tiger, where they had, I don't know what they were called. We used to get them when we were young. They come in sheets and they're connected with a little strip of white paper, so you cut them out. And when I was young, you used to be able to get them in like newsagents. And use them in school projects. They used to come in a lot of different styles, a lot of old-fashioned kind of things. And I found some in Italy, so Rach and I both got some birds, cats, animals, etc. So I'm going to stamp cat as well. I like to use the Stays On ink. And I like the Timber Brown. I also have black, but I do really like Timber Brown. And I'm not pedantic about it lining up perfectly. And I also don't mind if you get that little frame on the edge either. That doesn't bother me. Some people might like to be a bit neater. So obviously, I was telling you before, I have a cat. I love cats. I love all animals. I love dogs. I love cats. But my son and I are very much in love with our little kitty. Well, she's not so little anymore, but our kitty. And the last thing I'm going to do, just to give it a bit more of an interest, is I'm going to stamp a few bits and pieces just to make it interesting. Some of these stamps I found at a second-hand store. Some I bought at the Japanese store that's closing down. Others I've collected over the years. I like stamps. They just make it. I might do this as well. All right. So there's number 4. I'm happy with that one. I don't want to overwork it too much. So just to give you a look, sorry, one more thing. I need to put some paper under there. That's what I normally do. So let me have a think. Wouldn't mind something, because I've been using a bit of green. I'm just going to have a look in my scrapbook paper here quickly if I've got some kind of green floral. I have a lot of Maggie Holmes paper. I really like Maggie Holmes, and I bought a little bit of her paper recently. Oh, this is a florally one. Of course, I'm gravitating towards pink. Let me see if I can get something with a different dominating colour. Don't mind that. It's got gold and navy. Don't mind that. That's an option. No, nothing florally in green. That's what I'm sort of aiming for. I haven't got all my papers next to me. I've only got some, so... Oh, I know what I might be... I know what I'm going to put in, actually. So, having just come back from Italy, I was able to get a lot of... Yeah, that. A lot of papers. This is one that I bought in Florence, a Florentine paper. This is nice. I like this. Floral and green, that will work. So all I do is get a piece, doesn't matter if it's ripped or cut, a little bit bigger than the window, put glue on it, making sure to get right to the edges. And then through the middle. And then what I do open up the envelope, just eyeball it from the outside, line it up. And then stick it down. I really like that. I like it because I didn't go dominating with pink. So it's different. I think that's really cute. They all look different. So they're really fun. So that's a combination of my sister's envelopes. I've also seen Johanna play with envelopes in a slightly different way. And the collaging is definitely influenced by 49 Dragonflies, who I've really enjoyed watching recently. So I hope you liked my first video. Now I'm home and I'll try to get some done every now and then. Thank you. Bye.